Hello and welcome to Cracking the Cryptic, and today looking forward to having a go at a puzzle by Panthera called 3 Bags Full, which has been recommended to us. So I'm going to have a look at that. It's a Japanese sums puzzle and we will circle back to that in this intro. First of all, I do want to mention that coming soon, our second gas app. So if you have the CTC app, the newest app that we released, into that we get the new material, and you can then click on it and sometimes pay for the extra material. There are some free packs within that, but there's also our first gas app and domino sudoku within that. So the second gas app will be out at some point. We're on the verge of sending it off to the 3 platforms, and they then take their own sweet time, I'm afraid, to decide when it gets released. So that's up to Steam and Google Play, the Android store, and the Apple App Store as to when they'll release it, but we will let you know more as we find out. What else have we got going on? We've done a certain amount of crossword content, and coming up in a week's time on the 22nd, John Halpin goes again with his creating a cryptic crossword with a celebrity, and this time it's someone who's probably not very famous but should be. Monica Grady, who's one of the leading space scientists in the UK, is going to be participating with John in creating a cryptic crossword, probably themed on space. We shall see. And it's always a very interesting watch. You have to join John, follow him on his channel, which is linked under the video, and then contribute something to Monica's chosen charity. And it'll be a very interesting Zoom call, non-recorded, but it will be happening in a week's time, and I recommend it. Now, what else have we got? We've got, of course, our merchandise, but on Patreon we have a Japanese sums Sudoku hunt, Alice in Sudoku Land, by the Asylum, Monty Knox and Panthera of today's video, who are known together as the Paint by Numbers Institute. They've created a brilliant set of 12 puzzles. If you can get 3 of them done before the 20th, you are in with a chance of a prize. We've drawn the curtain down on shout-outs for getting all 12 done, because there's so many hundreds of you who achieve that. Well done. Well done to everybody. If you've done one puzzle in that hunt, you're great. And if you've done all 12, you're just extraordinary. So, I'm hoping to do one such puzzle today, 3 Bags Full by Panthera. This has been recommended to us by Fool on Hill, not by Panthera herself, who's been dealing with, a bereavement, I'm afraid, her dad, I think, and she's been very busy lately, so I'm very sorry about that. But yeah, Fool on Hill said, you may not have seen this, it's brilliant. So we're going to have a go at it. It's an irregular Sudoku with the Japanese sums rules, and I will explain them now. So, you're playing it, if you click on the link under the video, in Sven's beta app, which is made available to Panthera, which has enabled her to create clues in different colours around the grid and on the bias, so you can see more clearly what the numbers are and which columns and rows they relate to. And that's quite helpful. There will also be solution within it, so if you get it, you can click the tick and see if you're right. But the rules begin. So the rules are as written by Panthera. I haven't adapted them. They begin, please do not try to find the missing camel. He's not in a bag, really. I think I've understood this now. This is a reference to an early Japanese sums puzzle with a picture at the end of it, which some user thought resembled a camel, although it wasn't meant to be, and the joke has always been ever since that every puzzle is a camel. The title 3 Bags Full, Panthera rarely messes with us, so I think we know perhaps what sort of picture we're going to get at the end of this, although we are still going to use logic to get there. Now, the way the rules are phrased, normal irregular Sudoku rules apply. I will explain what irregular Sudoku rules are, and maybe you might see oxymoron between normal and irregular as adjectives. But anyway, there is 1 to 9 in every row of the grid, every column of the grid, and every marked region. I was going to say they're not 3 by 3 boxes this time, but one of them is. So 1 to 9 in every marked region and every row and every column. Normal 2-colour Japanese sums rules apply. I will explain these. Colours used in this puzzle are black and grey. That's going to be tricky. I may use different colours to solve it in and then correct them at the end. The clues outside the grid indicate the sums of the contiguous runs found in that row or column that must be shaded black for black clues and grey for blue clues. So the blue clues are leading to the greys ultimately. If a clue is red, and there are lots of those, then both colours must be present in the row or column. So, for instance, in this 9-10 row, there could be a run of 3 cells that add up to 9 and might be black. And there could then be a run of cells that add up to 10 that could be grey. Sorry, I don't know. I've made it blue there. That was silly. So I was going to put a 9 there. So the 1 could be there, and those could be grey cells, or the 1 could be there. That could be grey, and that could be nothing. And that would fulfill the clue as well. These other cells would be not in the black and grey runs. So that's how the clues work. And as I say, when you get a red row or column, it means both colours have a contiguous run within that row. There must be an unshaded cells between runs of the same colour, though there is no need between runs of different colours. And if a row or column is unclued, there's no shading in that row or column. That doesn't happen here, so that's not part of this puzzle. So those are the rules. Do give it a try on the link under the video. If you like it, definitely join us on Patreon and give the whole hunt a try, because it's going to be 12 puzzles a bit like this. Some easier, some... I suspect this is at the harder end, but I don't know. Haven't done it yet, so we'll find out. Give it a try, as I say, on the first link under the video to play the puzzle in the beta version of the app. I am going to start now. Let's get cracking. So... we've got, right, there is a secret, and it applies in a certain way to an irregular Sudoku. The secret that we sometimes share with our favourite people is that every row and column of a Sudoku adds up to the same number, and every marked region, because by rule, these all contain the numbers 1 to 9. They always add up to the same total, unsurprisingly. That total is 45, and that is particularly relevant for column 7. Because in this column there is a run of digits that add up to 44. So obviously the only digit not in that run is a single cell containing a 1, which must go at either the beginning or the end, and everything else in the middle is... I'm going to use blue. I know we're told that blue represents grey and black represents black, but I am going to colour the grid in blue for blue. And, well, I don't know. What shall I use for black? I want to use something which has a contrast but leaves me with a colour that can be no shading. I'm going to use grey for black, and I realise that's a bit perverse, but we'll change it at the end and we'll see what the picture is, if there is one. Anyway, those are all in the 44 run. Ah, hang on, this is better than that. This cell does not contain a colour, because in the column there are only blue coloured cells, and in the row there are only black coloured cells. I will keep calling these blue and black, and then we'll see. Anyway, that is therefore not coloured. So that is the outie, that is the 1, that is the yellow cell. And this is the 8 cell 44 clue. Right. Now what? Right, this is in a 38 clue. 38 is, if you get the maximum Sudoku digits, 98765, they only add up to 35. So 38 must be at least 6 cells of blue, including that one. So I think we can shade all of these blue, and they must be in the 6 cell run. This is in a 17 clue, so it works slightly differently. The maximum length of a 17 clue is 5 cells. If you have 6 cells, you've got to include 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at least, which is 21. So the maximum run in this row is 5 cells, which could stretch the blue to here at the most. So those two are not in blue. There is only blue in this row, so I'm going to make them yellow. And then if we look in column 1, I've got a 10 clue. There's only one black run in this column somewhere, and it's clearly not below the yellow, so that's yellow. Oh, in this column, that can't be where 12 goes because you can't do it in one digit like the 10, so that's yellow. I've just realised that where there's an interface between a black clue and a blue clue, I can just make it yellow, just as I did with that 1. So I think that applies to those cells. They're all impossible to be shaded because they'd have to be blue for the column but black for the row, or vice versa. So that's given me a few extra cells. Right, look, there's a 4 and a 40 in this row. Well, the blue is shaded. It's in one of those runs. It has to be in the 40. The outies actually in this row, if you take 44 from 45, just as in column 7, you've got an outie of 1. Oh, and that means that the run of 4 doesn't contain a 1 because the 1's in the outie. So it can't be a 2-cell run of 4, so it's a single digit. So there is a 4 in one of those 2 cells. Now I don't know exactly where the 1 is. It's either before both runs, between them there, or after them both there. So one of those 3 cells is a 1. The rest of these are all blue. They're all in the 40. In the row above we've got 37. That's not such a big digit, but 37 must still be a 6-cell run, just like 38. So I can colour those blue. That has to be in the 37 run. It couldn't be in the 6 run with 37 on its right. Here again, the rightmost clue is a 34. That only has to be 5 digits, 98764 at the fewest number. So I can't quite extend that to here. Now with this one, I don't know. It could be part of the 10, but it could equally be part of the 9. Oh, this one can't be. Yeah, no, that could be part of the 9 as well. Those could add up to 13. Okay, so I'm actually top row, 16. Maximum length of that is 5, so that cell can't be in it. So that's yellow. Now I'm going to go back to the columns, I mean. We've got a 28. Is that in the 28? Yes, you couldn't put the 28 below this blue cell because you need at least 4 cells. So, so the 28 is blue. That is its colour. Oh, hang on though. 28, 30, 37. I don't know. There is a single 2 up here somewhere. I don't know beyond that. Right. It's getting a bit harder now. 8, 34, 2. Well, obviously all the blues are in 34. There's too many of them to be in 8. Oh, so there's a 2 below them because a 2 clue can only be satisfied by a single 2. It can't be a pair of 1s. Oh, and there's a 5-2 clue in this bottom row. Oh, and the... Hang on. Right. No, not quite. I was going to say this must be the black 2 in this column. And indeed, I think it probably is, but I don't think that's proved. That could be the black 2, and this could be the 34 run, and then you could have 8 above it. This can't be a blue 2, that much I know, because this row only has black in it. In this row, you can't put the 5 and 2 both after the 1. So the 5 is this side. The 5 has to be a single digit because there is a 2 run in the row, which is a single 2. There is clearly a 1 outie in the row, so you couldn't make up 5 in 2 digits. So the 5 is a single digit and the 2 is somewhere on its right. Now if that is the 2 and it's black, that's a black 5. Actually, that works very well. That's almost certainly what is right. But I don't feel I've proved it yet, and I do want to prove everything in this puzzle. I'm getting a bit stuck, actually. Let me just think a bit harder. Looking at this 10 in column 1, it's not really telling me anything. 27 here. How many cells in a 27? At most 6, I suppose it could reach to the top. I don't know, I'm not thinking very clearly at the moment. Let me try and figure something out in this puzzle. Oh gosh, so dumb. 8, 34 and 2 add up to 44. The only outie in this column is a 1. That clearly doesn't appear here. So this is a clued cell. It's in the 2. It is a 2. For the row, that is the black digit. The second, I was going to shade them grey, so there we go. The first digit must now be here. It mustn't touch it or it would form part of the same colour run. So everything else in the row is yellow. Right, and that 5 and 2 do fulfill their clues. But I don't know about the colour of these cells yet. I don't think. They could be blue or yellow. 23 could be just 3 digits. That's not 2. I can take that pencil mark out. Right, so where is the 1 in this column, the outie that is a 1? Well, it could be here. It could come after the 8, which could put it here or here. But it could also be there. So that's actually not very helpful at all. 2 and 24. So there is a 2 somewhere in those 3 cells. Wasn't that? Yeah, there's a 2 somewhere. Somewhere here. Don't know. This row. Right, there's only one outie in this row. It's 6 and 37. The outies only add up to 2 to make the total up to 45. There's only one outie, so that has to be blue. That has to be part of this. There can't be 2 cells not in the 37, some after it. But the outie could be here as a 2 following a 5-1 pair. Or it could be here following a single 6, or it could be here. Actually, it could even be at the beginning. Oh, and we've got the 10 clue. So in this row, the 4 is going to be black. In this row, the 6 is going to be black. And in this row, the 7 is going to be black. And that is more than the 10 on offer in this column. That could be 6 and 4. But there are other ways of doing it, I think. It seems quite likely. I'm tempted, but I mean, we want to do this logically, as I said. So I need to think a bit more clearly. 38. So outies of 7, which could be 3 cells, being a 1, 2, 4. That's very irritating. Oh, come on, Mark. Think about this. 6 and 16 in this column. How could these both be outies? That would be a 1, that would be a 2. They could be. Getting a bit bogged down now. Right, 23 in this column. Surely it can't reach to the top. That would be 7 cells. So that's yellow. This must be yellow because of the 16 clue in the top row. Well, it's nice to fill a couple of cells, but it doesn't really advance me much, does it? The 8 up here could be 1, 2, or 3 cells. Oh, there's a 1 outie somewhere in this column. I don't know, 2 now in this column has to be in one of those 3 cells because you have to fit a 7 after it before the 28 in blue. Now if that is an outie, it's a 1. And these would add up to 16, or maybe just Oh yeah, it would be 3 of them. Oh, that's an interesting point, actually. The numbers that are available up here, in that cell we can't have more than a 2 because of the first run in column 8, and the same is true in that cell. Those numbers, if they were contributing to the 16, neither of them could be more than 2. In fact, they can't both contribute because they would both have to be 2s. So only one of them does, and it's a 2. Or maybe neither of them. But the only way to have neither of them contributing would be for this to be a 7-9 pair. That would be a 7 with a 1 beneath it, and that's not possible because the 1 in this column is the outie. So one of these 2s is in the 16 sum, along with 2 other digits. If that 2 is in the 16 sum with 2 other digits, that is blue. And if that is in the... then it could be that. Or could it? Because the maximum there is a 6. 6 to 8. Yes, it could. Oh, I thought I was onto something there, but it did not pan out. That's very annoying. Right. Oh, Mark, think about this better. That is a 1 or a 4. It's either the outie or it's the first run, which is a single digit 4. This can't be more than 6. Or this could be in its 7 sum. Okay, my new contention is that one of these 3 cells must be the whole of the first sum in its row. Now this could go 7 to 1. No, it couldn't. Oh, if that's a 1, it's yellow. It's not in the sum. Oh, that's interesting. This is either a 4 in the sum of 10, or it's a 1 not in it. If it's a 4 in the sum of 10, then either these are a 1... Oh, there could even be 4, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I can't quite see a way around this yet. I think it's likely to be 4 and 6 there and 7 there. I don't think there are very many black cells in this puzzle. But I'm not sure what the proof is at the moment. Now we've got a 27 sum in this column. That goes blue because the 27 sum has to be at least 4 blue cells. Now the outies in this row are a single 2. That could be there if that's a 6. It could be there, and then that's a 6. How could this really be 2 cells adding up to 6? If that's a 1-5 pair and a 2 there, that's how. It's tricky, but it does work. No, it doesn't. Oh, yes, it does. I was going to say no, it doesn't, because if that's a 4, if that's a 1-5 pair making up 6, that has to be a 4. And then this would be another 1, but it's not allowed to be a 1 because there's a 1-5 pair in its region. But then the 1 could be over here. Now, can that be a 1? Then that will be a 4. Oh, I just can't see it. I think there's some way that this whole area works together. 7, 6 and 4. They're all black. The 7, 6 and 4 are all black because the other region in their row is blue. Well, they can't. They're all in the same region and they add up to 17. So they can't take more than 5 cells in that region. Mark, think about it. Maybe I should be doing some sudoku. Now there are, I don't know, is this crazy? There are some law of leftovers plays. No, it's not crazy. I've just had a slight thought. If you look, so the law of leftovers sort of compares columns or rows with regions. So those 3 columns contain 3 sets of the digits 1 to 9. We know that, that's the rule. But so do these 3 regions. Now the only difference I've made to those regions to get them to be the regions instead of the columns is to take out those 2 cells from 3 sets of the digits 1 to 9 and put in those 2. So in fact those 2 must have identical digits in. Those 2 cells must be the same digits as are in those. They can't contain a 2 because there's already one in their region, so that is not a 2. That's all I got out of that. Now one of these is a 2, and then we've got quite a lot of yellow cells in this column, I would think. Because if we're using a 2, how many blue cells make 24? Well, we know it's 4 already. That's the most. We don't need any more. And we could have up to 6. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, that's 26. It's 4 or 5 cells of blue after 1 of black, somewhere in those 2. If this is blue, it's a 2. Then that can't be blue. These 2 would have to add up to 14 to make the 16 sum. Oh. Those 2 are both in the same region as that cell, and one of them does contain a 2, so that's not a 2. Now, all I have to do is prove there isn't a 2 here, and I've got another digit. If there was a 2 here, what does it mean? It means 7 must be a single cell there. That would be a blue 2. That would be a black 7. Then you'd have blue 28 down here, 9865. It almost fails, but it doesn't quite. I mean, I don't believe that's a blue 2, but I haven't quite proved. Mind you, there's a 2 in one of those places. Where is the 2 in this column? It's going to be down in one of these 3 cells. That's quite weird. There is a 2 already in this region, and there's a 2 already in that region, so that's not a 2. I don't think that helps me at all, but it's quite an interesting thing to suddenly spot. I mean, I'm so confident with how this grid pans out, and yet I can't quite prove it. I'm sorry about this. Just need to do a little bit more thinking still. How about this 712? Now I suspect that's the black 7. And then there's a blue 12 beneath it, but I don't know for sure. If it wasn't, what would that mean? Oh, that's interesting. Would it mean, yeah, this cell that I've got highlighted, this can't be part of, it can't be part of a 2-cell 7 if it was going to be part of a 2-cell 7 the other way, because all the complement cells are in the same region. No, that's not the solution. Come on, I need to think of what to do here. I need to be smarter. Work smarter, not harder. What is Panthera trying to tell me here? The 2 in this region is in one of those cells. I mean, we've got all sorts of information about 2s. The third 2 in the top 3 rows is in one of these, obviously. There's no 2 there. There's no 2 there. There's no 2 in that region. So there's no 2, because again we've got this law of leftovers thing going on with these shapes compared with the bottom rows. If there's no 2 there, there can't be a 2 here. It's also not a 2 in those areas. So the 2 in this region has to be in one of those cells. I don't know how that helps me at all. I don't even think it does. I think I'm just being foolish, focusing on the wrong things at the moment. But I don't know how to get out of this pattern that I'm seeing of possibilities that I can't quite eliminate. $38 in this row. Has to be 5 cells minimum. No, it has to be 6. It doesn't let me colour another cell as far as I can see. I'm not going to get this from thinking about the 2s. I've got an outie 1 in that column, and I've got an outie 1 in this column. I've only got outies of 4 in this row. If that's a single cell, it's not in those. It's also not there if it's a single cell, because those would add up to 1, 2, 4 and clash with that 4. So if 4 is a single cell outie, it's over here. But it could be a 1 and a 3, and that's annoying. Right, if this is blue, this is a 1-4 pair, the outie and the other region. Then the 6 here can't be 1-5 or 2-4 or 1-2-3. It must be a single 6. And there's a 2 outie in this row, which is not there, so that's not a 2. But it could be at that end. But I think, no, it was dependent on this being a 4-1 pair that we would have to have a single 6 here. Let's go back to thinking about 10 in black in this column. If that was black, it couldn't be more than 3 cells, because it would have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and you couldn't fill that. So if that's black, it doesn't get down past there. These 2 are both yellow. They're both outies. They're going to have to be a 2 there and a 1 there. And then you've got a 1 and 2 here. 10 would have to be 2 cells. 3, 7 and 4, 6. Here's another way to think about it, and this might actually be relevant and useful. Yeah, that's interesting. So the cells that are black and make up the black totals in this row, where are they in the puzzle? Oh, that's really interesting. There are 2 and a 5 down here. Obviously they've been eliminated. Forget those. And now the 2 up here is black because the 24 is blue. So that is contributing something to... The 2 is black. It's not here. How obvious is that? This is a blue row. Oh, that's painful. I'm so sorry. Right, the 2 is here. That is black. Gotta be. Because the 24 is blue and we need both colours. Right. Now that's something learnt. Now that is part of, well, what? Part of the 9, definitely? How could it be part of the 10 If that was maybe a single 9, they added up to 13. No, let's keep thinking about what's black. So that's black. So we've dealt with all the blacks and blues in these columns. I think, well, we've got 8 in either black or blue at the top of this column. And this is in something that adds up to either black 10 or 9. And there's a black 9 or 10 here. Right, what is the total we're going to get? We're going to get 10 or 9 black in this row, 10 or 9 black in this row. So we're somewhere between 18 and 20 at that point. We're going to get 7 black in this row, 6 in this row, and 4 in this row, which add up to 17. So we're somewhere between 35 and 37 for all the remaining black cells, with the one possible exception that this could be a 10 in black and a 9 in black, I think. No, I'm wrong. I'm wrong because we need some black in these columns. Well, what's that coming from? Oh, that's really interesting. This is a really interesting way of looking at the puzzle. 13 black could be there. 10 black could be here. There are no other black row clues that could be giving us digits over here. And they add up to 23. Now that's got to be the total. Well, either 13, 10 or 23 is the total of black clues in these columns. Now, it could be 7 and 16 to make 23. But that is not going to allow 10 over here would have to be both of these cells. 13 there and 10 there. So what I'm visualizing is those all being black. These would add up to 7, those to 13, those to 10, and those to 16. These would have to be 9 and 7. That would be 1 or 3. And this would be 4 or 6. That would work. But this would be a blue 6. This would be a blue 2. Okay, that is possible. But the other thing that I've seen as possible is just 7 and 6. Providing a 13 here. Then the 10 would be part of blue. In either case, that is a blue 2. Whether that's contributing to... Yeah, just the 10 clue isn't going to work, because none of these clues in columns 8 and 9 can add up to 10 together. Yeah, okay. So the 13 is black. That's up here. That's black. Oh, right. And that's above the black, because that's the 7 is contributing to the black. We're either adding to the 7 and 16 or the 7 and 6. So we're getting 7 in this column, and the 2 is above it and is blue. Oh, that's a hard, hard puzzle. Now, that is either a single 7. It can't be 3 now, so it's either a single 7 or a run of 2 cells. Now, the question is all about, are they both black adding up to 10? And there are ways that works. Oh, in this row, we've now got black, blue, black. This is part of a 10. That's yellow because it can't reach there. Those add up to 13. This or those two add up to 9. This is part of a 10 row. But this can't be black, because in this column we've got a blue 23 and a black 5. So that's yellow. Here we go. This is part of a 10. That's an 8. This is a single cell 9. I think this has to be right. That's now a 6-7 pair to make up 13 without 8 or 9. This 8 is the black clue, so that's yellow. This is blue to get to the 16 in this row. That is therefore the 6. Aha! So this is the 7. That's a 6. That's part of a 7 clue, so that's 1 and grey. This is 9 and grey. And now we've made up the 16 and the 7. These are all yellow. How are they yellow? The outies here. That's a 2. That's a 1. That's the 4 and is black. Ba ba, black sheep, have you any wool? Yes sir, yes sir. 3 bags full. Right, that's blue. That's part of the 40. Now, is that a single 6? It can't be 4, 2. It can't be 5. It can't be 5 there and 1 there, because that would have to be a 1 in this clue. But it could be a 1 there, a 2, 3 pair there and a 5. No, it can't. This blue is never going to reach. This is the 9 clue. It can't reach past there. They're all yellow. Right, this is a single 6, because if it was part of a duo making 6 that way and a duo making 6 that way, those 2 cells would have to be the same. So that is a single 6. That is yellow. The 7 is the black clue. Yes, the black clue in this row is 7, and that's the last black there is. And again, the same principle applies. Can't be 2 cells because those 2 would have to be the same. It's a single black 7 there. That is all the black in the puzzle done now. It's all done. Everything else is blue or yellow. In this row, everything was included apart from the 2 outie. In this row, the outies added up to 4. Right, we can deal with them now. 3 and 1. Everything else is blue. In this column, we need to get to 27. That's at least 4 cells. That goes blue. Don't know here. These have to be at least 6. Don't know. 2, 7, 28 is at least 4 cells as well. So that's gone blue. Still a few cells to sort out. I mean, you can get an idea of the picture now, but I'm not going to till the end. Just going to deny myself that pleasure. Now, come on though. This can't be a 2 because it's in the K, in a region with a 2. In fact, the outies in this column that are outside this region are the same as the cells in this region that aren't in that column. So 1, 2, 3 and 6 in the region, 1, 2, 3 and 6 in the column. This is 4, 8, 5 by Sudoku in the final column. That is now a 2, 7 pair because it sees 6 and 9 as well as everything else that's in the region. That's a 6, 9 pair. That, I was going to point out brilliantly, that's the same as those cells by the law of leftovers. We have one of these going on everywhere. So those are the same as that. That's really useless at the moment. Those are the same as those. That's totally useless. And those are the same as those. Okay, uselessness. Never mind. Let's just keep going. Maybe use the clues a bit more, if I can. I don't know how to. So no, maybe not. 5, 2, 1, 3. That can't be a 5. We've got a 6, 9 pair there. Oh, come on. I mean, I know what makes up these cells and those cells, but I don't see how to use them at all. What about this region? 1, 7, 6, 4. It's not actually very helpful at all. 10, 1, 6, 4, 5, 2, 3. That is 7, 8 or 9 by the numbers it sees. Oh, outies here add up to 7. So they don't include an 8. They could still be 4, 2, 1 or 5, 2. So that's always a 2, which is quite interesting. It lets me take those out. It doesn't tell me whether this is yellow or blue. If it's yellow, it's a 1. If it's blue, it could still be a 1 actually. Don't know. But that 2 sorts out this 7, 2 pair. There we go. Right, come on. Let's just do some Sudoku. That's 3 or 5 by virtue of everything that it sees. We need 1, 6, 4, 7. Oh, we're going to add up to 12 here. Now, if it's just those cells, they couldn't be 7, 5 or 4, 8. They'd have to be 9, 3. If it's all 3 of them, not so sure. Oh, could that be the 1 that I was postulating if it was yellow? Oh, then that would be 9, 3 if it was yellow. Oh, bother. Okay, I'm none the wiser there. 2, 5, 1, 3. The 1 in this region is in one of those cells. Oh, no, that's useful. Those two are the same as those two, so they can't contain a 1 according to this group. So if there's no 1 there, the 1 in this region is going to have to be in one of those two cells. Well, that limits it a bit. Oh, but of course it still doesn't tell me whether there is a yellow or a blue 1 in this cell. Can they add up to 11? Yes. 8, 3 or 9, 2. Nuts. 1, 3, 2, 8, 9, 6. 1, 3, 4, 5, 7 to go in here. All these little clues, they're all done. That's quite annoying now, because they were the things that were helping me. Oh, I've got to populate a 9 total. Right, it's more than 1 cell, so that is blue. Can it be 3 cells? They would be 2, 3, 4. Which one could be a 2? That one sees both of those, and that one sees that. No, they can't both be 2. None of those 3 cells can be 2, so it's not a 3-cell sum. That's yellow now. These two do add up to 9. They're not 1, 8 or 2, 7. They're either 3, 6 that way round or a 5, 4 pair, I suppose. Eight, 34 and 2 in this column. Oh, the outies is only a single 1 adding up to 1. That's blue, therefore. That's part of the 17 sum, which was always going to be at least 3 cells. So I could have coloured that for loads of different reasons earlier. Come on, let's keep going. This is going all right now. I feel like I'm finally at grips with the puzzle to some extent, but it's beaten me up quite a bit. It is a nice puzzle. You can that can't be a 6 in that region. You can understand why Fool on Hill recommended it, who is no fool, by the way. Now, where's there a 1 here? Just don't know. Or do I? Yes, I do. Where's there a 1 in this region? I think there's only 1 cell where it can go, and it's there. That's weird. So that is a 1, and I still don't know its wretched colour. And it depends on whether that's a 4 or a 5. This is 3, 4 or 8. That one is from 3, 4, 5 and 8. Now I need to keep asking these intelligent questions, like where did 1 go in this region? But I don't, my stock of them has run a bit dry now. I found 2 ways of proving there's a 7 in one of those cells. Totally useless. That is 3 or 5. Ah, that can't be 4. That 4 sees both of those cells. So the 4 in row 2, there's one of those intelligent questions, is there. That makes that a 5. Now we've got a 3, 7 pair at the top. This one is still 4, 5 or 8. That can't be 5. 3, 7, 1, 2, 6. These are from 4, 5, 8, 9. 1, 6, 4, 2. That is 5, 8 or 9 just by virtue of everything else that it sees horizontally and vertically. We do need to put a 9 in this region somewhere up here. Now don't forget the actual summing clues. Right, we used that column. I haven't ever tried using this really. The outies add up to 19. And they include at least those 3 cells, maybe that one too. Oh, hang on, in this column I must know whether this is an outie or not. The outies are meant to add up, the yellow cells are meant to add up to 8 in this column. I've never done that calculation in my life. So that is an outie 5. That's big. I almost want to say it can't be, but it is an outie 5. So that's blue to get this total up towards 17. 5 in this region has to now be in one of those 3 cells. 5, 3. I'm going to pencil mark this region now, just because it might tell me something that I'm not expecting. It didn't. 4, 5, 8. That can't be a 5. So the 5 in the final column, that is here. That can't be a 5. So one of those two is. In fact, this is the law of leftovers area. So those are from 5, 4, and 8. And that one can't be a 4. And these two are the same as those. Can't be 5, 1, 9, or 2. Ooh. Don't know how to use this puzzle. 1 in the central region is in one of those. 2 I've pencil marked already. 3 not much to go on. Oh, I'm just... Okay, these 3 cells now add up to the outie total of 19. Could be 3, 7, 9, or it could be 7, 8, 4, I suppose. 7, 1, 2, 6. These are from 4, 5, 8, 9. I was going to mark that up before. 7 and 6 and 2 in this region are all in those cells. So this is 3, 4, or 8. Now, 12. It's either a 9, 3 pair there, or that is a 1, and then these would add up to 11. They could be 8, 3. No, that can't be a 4 in this region. Right, these cells contain the same digits as these. 3, 5, and 8. That one can't be a 3. They're the possibilities. Oh, come on, we're getting close now. This is this region. 2 is in one of those 2 cells in the region. Ah, where's 2 in this column? There's an intelligent question, finally. I think the only place it can be is that cell. Right, that is in the 12 sum. And it is not in it with just this cell. All of these are blue. That's a 9. There we go. That's the 12 sum done. Now, actually I could have done that ever since I put the 5 there. But anyway, we got there. This isn't a 9. Ah, this has not been a great solve. This is 5 or 8 because it can't be 3. So one of those is a 3. So one of these two is a 3 because of the law of leftovers. It's that one. Right. That is the same as one of those. I can't deal with that. Oh, look, it's part of a 5, 8 pair in the row now. So these are from 2, 4, 6, and 9. The only place for a 2 in this row is there. These are from 4, 6, and 9, and one of them is a 6. I'm going to pencil mark that, because sometimes pencil marking is the way forward. I think all 2s might be done now. Ah, look, I can fill in the final one. In column 3, right there. All 2s are now done. That was worth checking. How are we doing on 6s? Not so well at all. Ah, one of the 6s is in one of those 2 cells in that region. Then there's one here. Oh, there's one here. That's an X-wing on 6s, so that's not a 6. That is. This isn't a 4. That's a 3, 5, 4, 8 quad. Ah, that's a nice one. 9 there. 7, 3 at the bottom. And I can... no, not 7, 3. Hang on. 9, 1, 2, 5, 4, 5, 4, 3, 8. 7, 6 as a pair here. They both see that cell, which therefore can't be 6, 7, 2, 4, 1, or 5. 3, 8, or 9 are left. In this row, 3, 7, and 8 are left. Oh, now the pencil marking might suddenly be my enemy. It's just confusing the heck out of me now. We've got that 6, 9 pair. Let's have a look in this box. 7, 9, 2, 1. That can't be a 9. 3, 4, 5, 8, and 6. 6 is in one of those cells. And one of those. That is a tight little X-wing. It doesn't really help. Oh, let's look at the leftovers. Right, 2 and 5, 2 and 5. Those 2 are the same as those 2. No, Well, no, sorry. Those two are the same as those two is what I mean. So that is 4, 8 or 9 since it can't be 3. That didn't sort things out. Oh, keep using the clues. Oh, we were going to add up to 19 in these 3 cells. Oh, how about the outies in this column? The outies add up to... Oh, well, I must know in this column. Let's do that first. The outies add up to 18, and they are 9, 11, 12. That's a 6, and the last one, that's blue. So both of those are blue. That's going to finish the colouring. I will still delay the gratification of recolouring it into the colours it's meant to be, but it gives me a 7 there now. That's 6. 7 in this region has to be here. That stops that being a 7. Now I've got a 3-8 pair that gives me a 7 here. That disambiguates 3 and 7 at the top. I've got 6, 7, 4, 6, 2, 5. I mean, this column must be done. 17 are the outies, yes. And this column, the outies had to add up to, I think I kept saying 19, and I did. And this is a 9, therefore. Right. So that makes 6 in this column there. That's 3 or 4. 1, 4 or 8. This region, surely. 4, 5, 8, triple there. So that's a 3. That's a 9. 3, 5, 8, triple there. That's a 4. 8 at the bottom. 3 and 5. The law of leftovers required these to be 3 and 5. So that's a 5. That's an 8. Here we go now. 5, 4. Law of leftovers makes this a 4. That's an 8. This 8, 4 pair is done. That 8 stops this being an 8. I've got a 1, 3, 4 triple here. As useful as a chocolate teapot. 6, 9 are done. We're going to get there now. 6 there. That's 4. That's 9. Hoo-wee. This is a 7, 8 pair that aren't resolved. That's a naked 7. That resolves them. That's 3, 4. That does the triple at the bottom. No more chocolate teapot for me. 9, 1. I've got a triple at the top once I've done these two in the centre. Oh, and that cell. Right. 8 there. 5, 3. Here we go. No, let's redo the colouring before I do the last digit and get the tick. So, grey was going to go black. Let's be on the colours. Highlight the grey. That goes black. Yellow was going to disappear entirely. And blue was going to go grey. That was what we were required to do. And there we go. We can see, I think, that the picture is a black sheep. And that's why it is so monochrome, because the sheep had to be black. So Panthera has coloured it grey. And there we go. 3 bags full. That's taken nearly an hour. And I think it was easier than that. But it was an enjoyable journey. And as much as I struggled with it, I enjoyed it a lot. Yes, it's a sheep looking to the right, with a black nose and face and black ears and tail and legs, and that's very cute. And we are coming up to spring, so it's very appropriate in this country. Thank you for watching on the channel as always. Hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.